Hello, welcome to my channel here at Curious Crochet. Today we're going to look at the basic crochet stitches and how to do them. I've done some little samples here of each stitch. We've got the slip stitch, we've got the single crochet, got the half double crochet, the double crochet and the treble crochet. Those stitches are the names in the US terms, but if you're in the UK, the terms will be slightly different. You'll have the slip stitch still, but then the single crochet will become the double crochet. The half double crochet will become the half treble crochet. The double crochet will become the treble crochet, and the treble crochet will become the double treble crochet. It all confused me. It took me a while to get my head around it, but here. But the US terms make more sense to me, but I will list the conversions for you so that you can compare and see which one you need. That one's rolling up a bit, let's lay it flat. Right, so let's go ahead and see what little sample we can make. We shall start here with the slip stitch. To start, we will need to do a chain. So to do a chain, bear with me, let's put my on the right side. To do a chain, we need to make a loop. So there's many ways you can make a little kind of slip knot, but to me I just wrap it around my finger and then push it through. Oh, it's twisted. Push it through the loop and then grab that bit and then pull it tight. But there's many ways to do it. You could even just tie a loop around it if you need to. Now you have your slip stitch on the hook. We need to make a chain. So hold your hook however it feels comfortable to you, and your yarn however it feels comfortable to you as well. There's no right or wrong way as long as we get the results. And then you hold the tail to stop it spinning around, because it will spin around. So just twisted it. So hold your yarn and hold the tail one way or another. Then if you hold your finger on the stitch, it should stop it moving as well. Then you need to wrap the yarn over the hook so that you've got 2 strands over the hook. And then you just pull the hook back through the hole and you've made your first chain. Right, to do that again, we will pull the yarn over the hook so you have 2 strands laying over the top, and then pull the hook, catching that first strand there, and then back through the loop. This is the easiest one to get going. Once you get the way to do this, then everything else will fall into place. So if you watch it, over and then pull it through, over and pull it through. You'll soon get the hang of doing this. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Move your finger up if it gets too long to hold. 9 and 10. Can you see that? That there is our 10 chains. And now we shall work on the slip stitch, as you can see up here. It's quite a dense, tight fabric. It doesn't stretch when you do it. It's very small and strong, so it's a good stitch to do if you are doing something that needs to hold something heavy or small things that can't escape through. Let's give it a go. Right, to do the slip stitch, we've got our 10 chains here. So to do a slip stitch, we will get the point of our hook, hold our finger onto the stitch so it doesn't spin, and then we will stick the point of the hook into the first chain, and then we will wrap the yarn over the hook and then pull it through that first chain that we've just gone through. Oh, there we go. And then we will have 2 stitches on the hook. And all we need to do is pull it through that first stitch, which is a bit awkward. There we go. We pulled it through that first stitch. And again, it might be a bit easier on this one. So we locate the next chain, which is here. So we've just gone through that first one. Now we need to look at the second one. So we stick the end of the hook into that chain and then wrap the yarn over and pull it through that chain. Then we have our 2 stitches on the hook, and then just pull the hook back through, catching the first stitch you just made, and then through the stitch that was already on the hook. And then again into the next chain, wrap the yarn over and then pull it through the chain. Then pull that chain that stitch you just made through the stitch that was already on the hook, and then you do that all the way along until you have 10 slip stitches made. Where am I? There we go. There are 10 slip stitches made Now we shall move on to the single crochet, or if you're using UK terms, the double crochet. Now we will move on to the single crochet, which is this one here in the cream colour. It's a slightly bigger stitch, but looks very neat and very uniform. So let's give it a go. I've changed colour already. When we do these crochet stitches, we need to bring the yarn up to the height of the stitch so that it will be able to be level all across. So for a single crochet, or double crochet if you're in the UK, it's quite a low stitch, so we will only need one chain to bring that up to the height that we need. So as before, wrap the yarn over the hook and then pull it through your stitch there, and then we can turn it around. A single crochet is similar to the slip stitch, but obviously there's a slight difference. So we need to go into the first stitch, which is going to be a bit difficult. There we go, into that stitch. Wrap the yarn around as before and then pull it back through the loop as before. Now, but as we did before with the slip stitch, we pulled it through this loop, but the single crochet is a bit different in that we wrap the yarn around again. So now we have our 2 stitches plus the yarn that we've just wrapped around, and then we pull the hook and that yarn through the 2 stitches that were already on the hook. So we get 1 single crochet. And we'll do that again. We'll go through the stitch. It's a bit tight because slip stitches are tight stitches. So there we go. We're through the, catch the yarn, pull it through. Then we have 2 stitches on the hook. Wrap the yarn round again and then pull that through those 2 stitches. One more time, you see, we go through the stitch. Oh, that's very tight, that is. Wrap the yarn round, pull it through, and then we have 2 stitches on the hook. Yarn round and then pull it through those 2 stitches, and I shall do that to the end of the row when we shall have 10 single crochet. Here we go, we have our 10 single crochet. Right, let's move on to the half double crochet, or if you're in the UK, the half treble crochet. So I've changed my colour again, and we will look at the half double crochet or half treble. As before, we need to build our stitch up to the height that we need. So for the half double, half treble, we will need to take it up 2 chains, 1 and 2. From the half double crochet onwards will count as a stitch. So these 2 chains will count as your first stitch. So as you can see, that is your first stitch there. So to do a half double crochet, you need to wrap your yarn over the hook to start with. So you've now got 2 strands laying over the hook. And now you find your stitch. You see a stitch has 2 strands going across the top. Can you see that, or is it too bright? 2 strands going across the top. Now if you lay it from the front, you need to go underneath both those strands. So here's our first one. So we go into our second one underneath both those strands, and then we catch the yarn and drag it back through again. So now we have 3 strands on our hook. So we will wrap the yarn over and then pull that through all 3 strands at the same time, and that will give us our half double crochet. And again, wrap it round the hook first, in under both the strands of the stitch, catch the yarn and pull it back through. We now have 3 stitches on the hook. Wrap the yarn round and pull through all 3 stitches together. Again, wrap the yarn round the hook, through the stitch and catch the yarn and pull it back through. You now have 3 stitches on your hook. Wrap the yarn round and pull through all 3 of the stitches together. So I shall do that to the end of the row and we shall see what it looks like. Well, here is our half double crochet finished. That's my favourite. I know it's mad to have a favourite stitch, but the half double crochet is mine. Can't deny it. So it looks very neat and tidy, and it is a decent height. Obviously a bit bigger than the single crochet, but not quite as big and gappy as the double crochet, in which you'll see next. So half double crochet, let's move on. Now we shall move on to the double crochet, or if you're in the UK, that will be a treble. It's, as you can see, it's getting a bit taller now. So here's 5 rows of double crochet, and it is a bit gappier, so it's a bit stretchier, so not as firm for structural items either. But it's a very versatile stitch and comes in very handy to build up items quicker. To do a double crochet, we will be building up with 3 chains. 1, 2, 3, and as before this counts as a stitch, so we shall turn. So for a double crochet, and much like before, wrap the yarn over, and then we will go through our next stitch and draw up the loop, so we have 3 loops on our hook. And whereas before we pulled the yarn through all 3 of these loops, we will do it in stages. So yarn over and then pull through just the first 2 loops, then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. So we shall do that again. So yarn over and then through stitch, pull up the yarn from behind, so we have 3 stitches on the hook, pull the yarn over and then pull through just the first 2 stitches, and then yarn over again and pull through the final 2 stitches. One last time, yarn over, through the stitch and pull up the yarn from behind, so we have 3 stitches on the hook. Then we go yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and that will give us our double crochets. So I shall complete those and we will see what it looks like at the end. Well, here is the double crochets finished. As you can see, they are starting to flare out slightly as the tightness of the stitch is becoming less, whereas the slip stitch was the tightest stitch, and as we get further up they will be looser and more stretchy. So let's move on to the treble, or if you are in the UK, the double treble. So let's go. The treble stitch, or the double treble, is the tallest of the stitches we will be looking at today. It is very stretchy and very open. Obviously, if you use a thicker yarn with a smaller hook, the holes will become closer, but in general it is a very open stitch. So let's have a look at it. For the treble, we need to build our stitch height up quite a bit. So for a treble, it is 4 chains. 1, 2, 3 and 4. As before, this counts as a stitch. So a treble is very much like a double crochet, but we have to do an extra wrap. I'll show you what that means. So whereas a double crochet we wrap the yarn round once, with a treble we have to wrap it round twice. So we start off with 3 strands of yarn on our hook. Then as before, we go into our next stitch, catch the yarn from behind, pull it through. Then we have 4 stitches on our hook. Then we will wrap the yarn round and pull it through the first 2. Wrap the yarn round, pull it through 2 again, wrap the yarn round again and then pull it through the 3rd time. So that will give us our treble crochet. Do that again. So wrap the yarn round twice to give us 3 strands on our hook. Then we would dive into our stitch and then catch the yarn from behind. So we have 4 stitches on our hook now. Then we will wrap the yarn round and then pull it through the first 2. Wrap the yarn round, pull it through the next 2. And then wrap the yarn round and pull it through the final 2. So twice round the hook, through the stitch, grab the yarn, wrap round, pull through 2, pull through 2, wrap the yarn round and pull through 2. And that will give us, oh, stitch is getting loose there, that will give us our treble crochets. So I shall finish those and then I will be back to show you the final result. Well, here is our final row of treble crochets. So as you can see, the height of the stitches are very different as you move on up. Let's bring it a bit closer to the camera so you can see. And you can see the density of each stitch and the gappiness as we get to the larger stitches at the top. Obviously, the taller the stitch, the quicker an item will work up, but it depends what kind of look you're after, whether you need the gaps in between or whether you'd like it a bit more dense as in the stitches lower down. That would be up to you. But yeah, I hope this has been an informative look at how to do the basic crochet stitches. Once you learn these, you could pretty much do anything in crochet. They're all based around these stitches. So, it's a nice tiny one and a little one at the end. There we go. And good luck with your crochet projects that you may take on in the near future. I hope you enjoyed this and please like if you could. I would really appreciate that. Take care. Bye.